quite a lot to say about him. But hold on to that. He, Mr. Richard Jakpa, is arguing with the Attorney General about the context of the LC. Richard Jakpa is a military captain, by the way. We know that. And so we've learned the circumstances under which he left. He was released from the Ghana Armed Forces. We have those circumstances. Now, the Attorney General and Jakpa are arguing about LC. This one says LC means this. This one says LC doesn't mean that. That's really the body of the case. Now, in that contest, it's about 4 to 5 minutes of the tape they are talking about. I will show you that as well. Then, there's a part of the tape that people are ignoring. It is there. They play the tape. So whilst you can tell when you listen to the tape that there are some jumpings in there, and we have isolated that as well for you to see. We'll play the tape, and you will see from the tape where the tape jumps up and down, and then you can imagine why that is happening, because maybe somebody was trying to import an artificial sound into the tape, or trying to remove something that was originally on the tape. That's what happens when you do tapes, and we have put it through our studios, and it's very, very obvious. On Thursday, we'll bring you other tapes like that, or we'll come to the studio, we'll do a tape, use the computer to take something out, and then you see how the tape responds after something has been taken out. That's how this tape was responding. Nevertheless, let's still deal with the contents of what they publish. Attorney General says, I don't need you to help me with the case. The whole NDC situation, the whole NDC prosecution has been hinged on the fact or the allegation or the idea that Richard Jakpa and the Attorney General's conversation was about the Attorney General getting Mr. Jakpa to help the Attorney General to be able to build a case against Atuforsen. This is the gravamen of the matter. This is what the NDC has been saying. On the tape that the NDC produced today, the Attorney General is heard clearly saying, I do not need you to help me to do the case. When Richard Jakpa, as you can tell, he sounds like a very busybody on the tape. He's introducing extraneous matters and talking about things that are not part of the conversation that we are listening to. So this is what you are saying. And then because he knew he was recording, and he knew the purpose for his recording, his malicious intent for recording, he was trying to play out his malicious intent for recording. And it manifested clearly in the tone of his conversation, whereby he was saying certain things that are unrelated to the conversation they were having. Jakpa was saying certain things that are unrelated to the conversation they were having. And this was because he knew that he was recording. He had malicious intention to do so. Maybe he had been coached to do so. And then I'll come to the matter of the Supreme Court judge. Who is the Supreme Court judge? Why are we pretending that we don't know who the Supreme Court judge is? Well, we have said it on Thursday the other day. But here is Richard Jakpa. Play back the teaser for me, please. Here is Richard Jakpa announcing to us who the Supreme Court judge is. Listen.
That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulende, when Yoni Kulende's place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. Because me, for example, that is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue, me to go about my answer. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulende, when Yoni Kulende's place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. Because me, for example, that is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue, me to go.
I was listening to Joy FM this evening, and they were talking about and the judge, and we don't know who the judge is. Didn't they listen to the tape? Didn't Joy FM hear the tape? What are we hypocrites? I mean, what's that? The guy, Richard Jakpa, said that anytime you bring up this, when we went to Yoni Kulende's house, who is Mr. Yoni Kulende? He's a distinguished justice of the Supreme Court of Ghana. And then all the publications say a certain Supreme Court judge. And today, the NDC in their tape, that's how I call it, because Frank Davis said it's doctored, you heard that already, and we have observed all kinds of things, but we'll get there. Today, Richard Jakpa, in his testimony on the recorded tape, a tape that Richard Jakpa was aware that he was recording, discloses the name of a judge, and still, media people sit on radio and say, oh, we don't know who this judge. Have you been told not to mention the judge's name, and therefore you are expressing your professional discredits that you heard the tape? Please play it again. Maybe I'm wrong. Play it again.
That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulende, when Yoni Kulende's place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. Because me, for example, that is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue, me to go about my answer. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulende, when Yoni Kulende's place, anytime you bring this issue.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we now officially know We can no longer say it's a certain judge whose name we don't know. It is the distinguished Yoni Kulendi, Justice of the Supreme Court, one of the most distinguished barristers of all time in Ghana. And he's the Justice of the Supreme Court, in whose house this meeting occurred. Now we are getting conflicting signals. How many times did the meeting occur in the judge's house? Now, if the NDC is alleging all of these things against Godfrey Dame, that he wanted to cajole Richard Jakpa to change his testimony, in fact, to tell lies, did this occur in Justice Kulendi's presence? Was Justice Kulendi there when the Attorney General was convincing his cousin, his brother, that he should tell lies? And what did Justice Kulendi say? And did Justice Kulendi preside over these meetings where the NDC is alleging that Jakpa was being cajoled by the Attorney General to speak things that are untrue in order to incriminate Atufosen, the minority leader? All these things happened in the presence of such a distinguished judge in the judge's house. The judge was the host of the meeting. All of these things happened in the judge's house, and the judge was aware about it. He knows that Attorney General was sitting in my house as a Supreme Court judge and trying to tell my brother that he should speak lies. Was the Supreme Court judge in this meeting? Play the tape again. Let's hear the name of the Supreme Court judge.
That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulendi, when I went to Yoni Kulendi's place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. Because me, for example, that is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue, me to go about my answer. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulendi, when I went to Yoni Kulendi's place.
Okay, so at the outset, we know who the judge is. No issues. We are not pussyfooting about this. We know who the judge is. And media people who tomorrow morning come and sit on media say, we don't know who the judge is. We don't know. Were you not in the press conference when Asenu Ketia played the tape? the doctor tape. Were you not there when he played it? And in the doctor tape, did you hear Richard Jakpa mention Kulendi's name? Why then are we continuing with it? I don't know who the judge is. A name withheld. Please, please, please. Here on Good Evening Ghana, we don't do that. That's why we have been here for so long. We speak it as it is. It's blunt. It is Justice Kulendi, one of the most distinguished barristers and a particularly distinguished judge. It was in his house that this meeting occurred. Jakpa is related to him, and that's the reason why he offered to host this meeting. That's the matter of fact. Now let's get to the touch screen. Okay, let's begin with the afternoon's events. Today was very busy for all of us. So we woke up in the morning waiting for the court processes. I thought it was 9 o'clock, so I asked people to be there at 9 o'clock. Then it turned out that it wasn't 9 o'clock, it was midday. Now, in the courts, this is what happened as we have depicted here. A ladyship, Justice Efia Sewa, indicated to everyone in the courts that people have to be careful the way in which they deal with court matters, and actually mentioned out Sami Jemfi and said that Sami Jemfi should be very careful when he speaks in court. Of course, Sami Jemfi, as you know, resisted it, is talking to the judge, and it was becoming brutal and feisty. The learned Attorney General, former Attorney General Marietta Brew, who had observed that Sami Jemfi was running himself into a potential contemptuous trouble, then intervened in the court. As you can see, we depicted in this photograph. Marietta intervened in the court to tell Sami Jemfi that calm down. You are dealing with a Supreme Court, you are dealing with High Court judge who has the powers to convict you on contempt. So please calm down. And that is what happened. So this was the beginning. This is how Sami Jemfi was preparing himself for the 2 o'clock press conference. He went to the court. The judge said something. He was trying to, as it were, lock horns with the judge. He was trying to lock horns with the judge. And Marietta stood up and said, Sami Jemfi, stop that. If you don't stop this thing, the judge has powers of contempt. He may convict you for contempt. So please stop. So she came in to support it, and we have to stop that in this country. People who are important officers of political parties must understand that the court ought to be respected. Okay. Now let's get to the details. So here is the matter. Johnson Asiedu Nketia decides to elect himself to run the NDC press conference. Now, the NDC press conference started sometime around 2 o'clock, and Asiedu Nketia started with, because we don't have too much time, I'll jump over this. Thursday we'll do a lot more. Asiedu Nketia started by electing himself to be the justice of the High Court. He gave the reasons why the judge should rule in a certain way. He talked about how Setekwe's testimony, Asiedu Nketia gave value to Setekwe's testimony and said because of Setekwe's testimony, nobody should be able to incarcerate Case Atufosen. I'm not sure whether he's the judge. I don't know what he was doing, but this is how he started the press conference. I was monitoring, same as many of you were. And those of you who didn't hear it, hold on, I'm going to tell you everything he said. So Asiedu Nketia started like that, and I was wondering, but Asiedu Nketia, I started receiving text message. Are you listening to your man? Yeah, he's my man. So I was listening. He said, the judge cannot rule this way, blah, 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 all trying to suggest and posit a narrative that suggests that Ato Forsen is not guilty. Fair enough, he's entitled to do that. So that ended. Then he came to the tape. He announced to the audience that the press, that he has a tape of 12 or 12 something minutes, 13 minutes or so. He indicated when the tape occurred, when the conversations occurred. Then he started playing the tape. Ordinarily, if you are a politician and you're holding a press conference, or you're anybody holding a press conference, ordinarily, you will allow the media to listen to the full length of the tape, that they may make their own impressions, isn't it? No. Asedun Ketia was aware, and he's a clever man. He was aware that if he allows the media to listen to the entire tape, they will come up with suggestions that suggest that the tape is empty. That's what they will do. They will come up with suggestions that suggest that the tape is empty. So he was guiding the media through the tape. So he plays one, then stops, then says, oh, you heard what Godfrey Dami said? This is what he said. He was trying to lead the thinking of the media. Maybe he doesn't have enough respect for Ghanaian media. He doesn't know that we can make our own decision. By now, Asedun Ketia should know that the people in the media, plenty of them are lawyers. Every media house has lawyers. So you, Asedun Ketia, you will not interpret a tape to the media because they have plenty. Joy FM has lawyers, City FM has lawyers, Peace FM has lawyers. Media has lawyers everywhere. Here in Metro TV, we have lawyers. So we don't need you to tell us that the thing you heard means this. I thought that was very disrespectful. And if I was there, I'll raise my hand, I'll say, General Secretary, party chairman, hold on, play the tape, let's listen. After that, you can make your comment. But this trying to guide us into what is in the tape and telling us how we should look at it is completely off, because it's disrespectful to the journalists who are listening, because we can listen and make our own impression. He wouldn't have been able to do that in an English press conference. I've sat in English press conferences so many times where the journalists will tell the person, hey, please, don't say that. You play, let's listen. Just tell us what you want to tell us. Don't tell us how we should see it. It's not, we will go to our editorial room, look at it and make a decision. But this was not the case. I was now telling them how they should see the tape. Okay, so now let's get to the battles of the tape. First of all, let's begin with the theory of the case. Godfrey Dami talks about the theory of the case. And then when they stop the tape, Asedun Ketia comes to introduce a new matter, an extraneous matter that was not on the tape. And this is what they did. This is what the propaganda machine was doing today. The very embarrassing propaganda machine. The tape says A. Asedun Ketia finishes and says the tape says B. Have a listen. Have a listen to that. The theory of the case. Have a listen.
In my view, if we agree to this theory, it's so simple. The theory of the case.
Not agree to the way you want to go. The way you want to go about it.
If you agree to this deal, where the witness agrees with Godfrey Dami the way he wants to go about the case, then the witness will have no case. There will be no difficulty for him.
In my view, if we agree to this theory, it's so simple. The theory of the case.
Not agree to the way you want to go. The way you want to go about it.
If you agree to this deal, where the witness agrees with Godfrey Dami the way he wants to go about the case, then the witness will have no case. There will be no difficulty for him. So listen to that part very well.
In my view, if we agree to this theory, it's so simple.
Yeah. In my view, if you agree to this theory, the theory of the case is so simple, you will have nothing to answer. If you agree to the theory of the case, every lawyer, when he takes a case, has a theory. The brief that when we go to law school, they give us exams and say, brief the case. That is the theory of the case. What is the theory of Nana Kunedu Ajiman Rawlings versus the Attorney General? It is that Attorney General says so and so and so, and Nana Kunedu says so and so. The theory of the case. The theory of the case can be different in different eyes, in different spectacles. The Attorney General says, if you agree with the theory of the case, Asedun Ketia then tells the journalist that if you agree to this deal, where did he get the word deal from? Completely dishonest, palpably dishonest, and manifestly so. The guy says, if you agree to the theory of the case, then because Jakpa knows that he's recording, he says he doesn't refer to the theory of the case. He refers to, so you want me to do what you want? You want me to do the way you want it? He's just saying that because he knows he's recording. Asedun Ketia then comes and says, when the word theory, I'm sure he has said that he understands theory. When the word theory has been used, he comes to say deal, trying to get the journalist to think in a certain way, because the word deal has connotations of corruption. The word deal has connotations of corruption, and that is why Asiedu Nketia elected with Sami Jenfi to select that word instead of theory. Because if Asiedu Nketia says, you heard the Attorney General, he says if you agree to the theory, if he says theory, the journalist will say, but what's wrong with theory of the case? So he imports a new word into it. He calls it deal. Listen again.
In my view, if we agree to this theory, it's so simple. The theory of the case.
Not agree to the way you want to go. The way you want to go about it.
If you agree to this deal, where the witness agrees with Godfred Odame the way he wants to go about the case, then the witness will have no case. There will be no difficulty for him. So listen to that part very well.
In my view, if you
So viewers, I think that point is well made, isn't it? If you agree to the theory of the case, this doctored tape, this tape that they have put together, will show you where they doctored it. Even in their doctored tape, the voice of the Attorney General says theory of the case. Then Asiedu Nketia says deal. Viewers, I leave it to you to make the judgment. Let me go to the next level of tape, because tonight we have people coming in with text messages plenty. We have to have time to read it. Let me get to the next one, the context. What we said, and we're going to evidence it. Anyone who listens to the tape, anyone, will see that the fundamental theory that underpinned the conversation was a disagreement about the import of LC within the context of the prosecution. That's fundamentally that. The fundamental thing in the theme, the theory of the conversation, is that the two parties are disagreeing on the import, purpose, validation, the veracity of the letters of credit. Attorney General thinks the letters of credit mean this. Jakpa says no, the letters of credit means that. That's fundamentally what's on the tape. Nothing more, as far as we are concerned, nothing less. Have a listen, viewers. Have a listen. This is the substantial part of the tape. This one covered most of it. Have a listen.
No, the LC is established as soon as you sign the contract. You establish the LC, and that becomes the security comfort for the supplier to invest his money.
It says LCs on site of goods are returned upon the sign of the contract.
Yes.
For every 50 ambulances.
Yes.
Yes. Which contract is this? It's not a contract for every 50 ambulances. So under this main contract, this was like the main contract.
The main contract, and LC for every 50 of the 200. So the contract is not saying that government should establish one LC, which is 15.8 million euros for the whole 200 at a go. No, government has a bulk contract of 15.8 million euros. Now this contract will become, the ambulance will be coming in tranches of 50 ambulances. So you establish your LC for the 50. When that 50 have been delivered and everything sorted out and handed over, another LC is established for another subsequent 50 until you finish all the 200. That is what the contract says. So the LC that was established.
Even then, I don't agree with your explanation. But even then, this explanation, that's not what happened in this case.
Okay, what happened?
Yeah, that's not what happened. Yes, because the LC was established even before pre-shipment inspection.
Yes.
Also,
yes.
There was no pre-shipment inspection. So, so it means there was no basis for the LC to be established in the first place.
No.
Really not your problem anyway.
Right, that place, in that particular place, you are getting it wrong. If you may have patience for me to explain to you, you are getting it wrong there because when you establish LC conditions precedent for it to be on it, and the condition precedent says that you can only cash the LC when you present shipping documents, which is bill of lading, to the Ghana International Bank of the buyer before the LC can be on it. So even though the LC was established upon the signing of the contract, was supposed to be established upon the signing of the contract, it cannot be cashed or on it. It becomes a form of security for the supplier to invest his own money. And when he ships the ambulances, he can then send a bill of lading to your bankers to then honor the LC, because that is a condition precedent.
But in any case, in this case, even the LC was actually cashed. Everything, that payment was actually made before the goods were shipped.
No,
the goods got to Ghana.
No.
Oh, yeah.
He couldn't have the supply. There is no way under the sun he could have cashed the LC before the shipping document, which were condition precedent, was presented to Ghana International Bank. Even when he presented the document to Ghana International Bank refused to honor the LC, raising issues of discrepancy, which came back to Bank of Ghana, which later went to the Ministry of Health, and then Animana authorized Bank of Ghana through Ministry of Finance to pay because they had sorted out the discrepancies with Big C. That time, around this time, or the ambulances had already arrived in Ghana. You were not privy to this one, I'm telling you.
Yes, that was the main conversation. This was it. The conversation was about the LC as done. No, I don't think the LC. This is what it was about. It wasn't a conversation to say, I want to cajole you to say something to incriminate Atuforsen. And so you had Jakpe's aggression because he knew he was recording, and he's a military captain. I've said that already. And the circumstances under which he left the Ghana Armed Forces will be told to you, not today, but on Thursday. Because he knew he's recording, he was that aggressive. There's another matter about Jakpa that we have to look at. It's very complicated. That's a different matter. Thursday we're on him. All the text messages that he's exchanging with some people are coming and saying that, look, the guy you are talking about, he had this meeting with me. He said that about President Mahama. That's a matter for Thursday. Leave it. Let's deal with this one. So the conversation is about LC. It's not about telling you, says, Jakpa, how are you? Listen, you have to be careful. You have to say this about Atuforsen so that I can jail him. Nothing like that. In fact, the next tape I'm going to play to you is where you will see that there was an obvious attempt to amend the contents of the tape. In that part, the Attorney General clearly is heard saying, I do not need you to help my case. Because that has been the allegation of the NDC and the allegation of Sami Jemfi here. That the Attorney General wanted Jakpa to help him to be able to jail Atuforsen, and Jakpa said he won't do that. The Attorney General is heard saying it clearly. I do not need you to help, even in the doctor tape. Then after that, they are listening, so they hear that this thing the Attorney General said, it is going to affect what we want to do. So then Jakpa starts talking in a certain way. You see it. Please play the tape. Have a look.
What is my interest in it?
I'm not asking you to really help me. I'm just going by it. But anyway, so that's fine. So this one was even just by the way.
I hope you get my difficulty. It's because I'm innocent and I'm going through ordeal. So I'm looking at another person also going to go through ordeal, and through me, because I know the truth and I decide not to say it. About question sentence. If I go by that way, frankly speaking, what is my interest in it?
I'm not asking you to really help me. I'm just going by it. But anyway, so that's fine. So this one was even just by the way.
I hope you get my difficulty. It's because I'm innocent and I'm going. So I'm looking at another person also going to go through ordeal, and through me, because I know the truth and I decide not to say it. About question sentence. If I go by that way, frankly speaking.
All right, viewers, I just want to take you through a small exercise. We'll play the tape again. The place where we put the 4 stars, if you listen carefully, viewers, you will see that after Godfrey Dame, in a very low voice, I don't know why Jakpa was loud, because he was recording, he was very loud, and Godfrey Dame was quite low. Godfrey Dame says that I don't need to help me to do the case. In any case, okay. I don't need to help me do the case. It's fine. That's what the Godfrey Dame said. Then Jakpa is very loud and talks about, I have gone through ordeal. No, nobody is talking about. The man says, I don't need you to help me do my case. If you will not agree with me on what LC means, it's okay. We'll go to court and sort it out. No problem. I say LC is blue. You say LC is red. Okay, let's go to the court and sort it out. The judge will decide whether LC is blue or LC is red. I don't need to help my case. End of story. Then he goes on a tangent on, I have suffered, so I don't want another person, because he knew that he was recording and he was trying to build up this case. Very dishonest, very, very wicked people. Very wicked people. Terribly wicked people. Now, viewers, listen to it again. Now, pay attention to where we put the stars on the video. Please play it again.
What is my interest in it?
Tell Kweku text message.
I'm just going by it. But anyway, so this one was even just by the way.
I hope you get my difficulty. It's because I'm innocent and I'm going through ordeal. So I'm looking at also going to go through ordeal, and through me, because I know the truth and I decide not to say it. About question sentence. If I go by that way, frankly speaking, what is my interest in it?
I'm not asking you to really help me. I'm just going by it. Anyway, so that's fine. So this one was even just by the way.
I hope you get my difficulty. It's because I'm innocent and I'm going through ordeal. So I'm looking at another person also going to go through ordeal, and through me, because I know the truth and I decide not to say it. Question sentence. If I go by that way, frankly speaking.
So if you bring a tape that you have already worked on, in which the Attorney General says, I don't need you to help me do my case. Before then, Sami Jemfi had spoken several times and said that the Attorney General wants Jakpa to help him to do the case against Atuforsen. And that was the point about the conversation. The Attorney General is clearly heard saying, even the one that they abducted. Attorney General is heard clearly saying that, listen, I don't need you to help me do my case. Then they doctor it, then he jumps. So I'm suggesting that after that one, the Jakpa did the voiceover, which they have imported into the thing. That is why his voice is very loud there. They did a voiceover, and that's why the tape has taken that long. From last Thursday, when Sami Jemfi said they had it, it is today that they are bringing, and they didn't tender it in court. They know that the tape will not stand the test of court, because in court there are forensics, and when he tenders it, the forensic experts will come and look at the tape. If the NDC believes that this tape helps their case in the Atuforsen trial, they should tender it in court. And I like what Gofredame said the last time. He said that when the case continues next week, it will be live on TV. I like what Gofredame said, and this is not the first time Gofredame will be doing that. He's done it already with the LGBT. It was on TV. Gofredame is going to apply to the High Court judge and to the judicial system that because of the high public interest in this matter, put it on television. We will all see when Richard Jakpa gets into the box to be cross-examined by Gofredame, and this tape will be tendered. Richard Jakpa will be asked, do you know about this tape? Are you the one who gave it to Asedun Ketia? Please, by court, play the tape. And then the forensic will come and look at the tape and make a decision. What kind of thing is this? What is this? Is that how we want to run this country? Because somebody must win an election, you bring everything down and let our children start learning deviant behavior like this, take tape and doctor it, this kind of deviant behavior. People who have been released from service for questionable character are the people that we should be looking at as role models in our society. Those of you who have young children, is that what you want your children to grow and do? People who have been released for questionable character go and do this kind of horrendous activity and put it out there that because of politics, because somebody must win election, this is what we are doing. He will have to stand the test of time in court, and that will be on national television. Everybody will watch it, and then we'll see. You go and put a tape and say, look at your Papa Penny like this. Why? We all look at us up to say, look at your big man like that. And then you get involved in something like this. Something horrendous like this. Asedun Ketia is involved in it. Why? What's happening? What's going on? You heard it. He said, I don't need you to help me do my case. Anyway, they were also not, they didn't resist the temptation to put out text messages. WhatsApp text message. Let's put it out. And in doing so, they put some and release some. They put some and remove some. Why didn't they put everything out? Okay, I don't know whether our people have put it together. Have they? Okay. So let me read it as it is, and then we'll be handing over to the social media people. Richard Jakpa says, good afternoon, my brother. I'm Richard Jakpa, a junior bro of Justice Kulendi. Now, this clearly shows that Jakpa is introducing. He is introducing himself. He said, I'm Richard Jakpa, a junior brother of Justice Kulendi. You intervened to secure my bail some weeks ago. Then there's a message deleted. I'm humbly requesting for a time and venue at your convenience to meet you for a private discussion. I'm most grateful for the kind gesture from you. Hope to hear favorably from you, sir. And then it says, thank you. Then Gofredame says, I will arrange through your brother. I am most grateful, bro. Something like that. Let's see what continues. He says that hope to hear from you favorably. I'm most grateful for the gesture. Thank you. And then here, Gofredame says, I will arrange through your brother. Richard Jakpa is the one who reaches out to the prosecutor and says that I am Richard Jakpa. He's introducing himself, a junior brother of Justice Kulendi. And he's telling the attorney that you have done something good for me. He says, you intervened to secure my bail some weeks ago. I am humbly requesting for a time and venue at your convenience to meet you for a private discussion. He says, I am humbly. This is the same guy who then comes, and you heard the tone of his voice, because today He knows that he's recording the Attorney General and he thinks that he's going to get something major out of it. You heard the tone of his voice. Listen to the tone of his text and listen to the tone of his voice. You'll see a completely different person. This tone is different from the tone of shouting that I don't want another person to go to prison the way you want me to do it your way. The theory of the case, as Nikita calls it, a deal. Viewers, I can't say more. Let's go to the text messages and see what people are saying. Later tonight, we'll be talking about football, where Manchester United have won the FA Cup in England last Saturday, and also Champions League comes up on Saturday. We'll discuss it tonight. Al-Hassan Bello is here with some revealing information about the coup d'etat in Congo. All of that is coming up. And this one, Sami Jefi, stop disrespecting the court. Remember not to disrespect the court. Who should I start from? I think I'd like to begin with Antoinette. What are people saying?
Mama and this double what I say? Debako, Atami to mama and this double Atami say and this double to mama and this Atami say.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. Today our viewers actually do have a lot to say. So let's start from Kweku Opoku. He says, Paul, the guy is a bit criminal in the context of LC. The letter of credit are issued in international transactions, and before LC is issued by banks, they make sure that all transactions are transparent and commitment is shown by both parties. Also, the LC goes through a series of processes before even getting to the supplier, agent, or company. All this, if JM is to come to power, why is the NDC failing to talk about their policies and alternatives to Ghanaians? Now, Nana Ekwamua Boaten, still on the topic, says, good evening, Paul. The NDC do not have any case. They have seen that the case against the minority leader is weightier and can put him in jail, so they have resorted to this game of if you miss the ball, don't miss the man. Our learned Attorney General is not perturbed about the rancorous, boisterous propaganda machinery of the NDC. Raymond Inso Ejerima Akakeya says, good evening, Paul. Thank you for shedding more light on this issue for us. However, I question the necessity of the AG in engaging in lengthy conversations with a third accused. I have high regards for the AG and believe they should have handled it more astutely. Watching you from NYC. Now, Awudu Tijani Wandani says, good evening, Paul. The nefarious and concocted evidence presented by the NDC against the Attorney General is nothing but a dastardly attempt to sully her good name and disrupt the judicial process. The blatant manipulation of audio evidence and distortion of facts reveals the NDC's devious intent to undermine the Attorney General's reputation and obstruct the prosecution of Atoforsen. The audacious and unscrupulous tactics employed by the NDC will not only fail in their nefarious objectives, but also expose the nefarious nature of their motivations. It is crucial for General Mosquito to adhere to the principles of honesty. Now, Richmond also says this NDC party went to court in 2020 election with no evidence, and now at this case too, they don't even have any evidence against the AG. Apau says, Apostle Paul, you are just amazing. The world appreciates your erudition of a great work. Marvelous you are. Now, Master Planner Jr. watching us from Kingston Post says, evidence, evidence, evidence. Who is having the evidence? This is not the first time we are hearing the NDC saying they have evidence. In the 2020 general elections petition, they told Ghanaians that per the evidence they have for the pink sheet, they, the NDC, had won 140 parliamentary seats and won the presidential elections by winning 10 regions out of the 16. How did it end? You can make all the noise outside the courts, But when you enter the box this time around, no calculator for anyone. Now, Osei Atukufo says Atufosin is spiritually in jail. Onapo is also spiritually a vice president. H.E. Bawumia will win the elections, but Onapo will become the vice president, then follow the jail of Atufosin. Uncle Paul, please write this down. What do you have for us?
So from Kweku Opoku. Good evening, Paul. My concern on this NDC press conference is that in 2020, the NDC took the EC and NPP to court for election rigging. The then General Secretary, Esiedu Nketia, found no interest in providing evidence to support himself and his party. In 2024, the current chairman, the same Nketia, is having enough audio evidence to support their press conference. Now, the chairman in the NDC party is a political investigator. Ghanaians are still speaking for the 2020 court petition evidence. From Akwesi Champong. Paul, one could hear clearly that a statement purported to have been made by Godfrey Dame is repeated in the same words as said in the earlier part of the conversation. Richard Jakpe's voice in a large part of the tape does not appear to be on the phone, and appears more as directly recorded and planted into what is supposed to be a phone conversation. From Umar, it will be an unpardonable offense for we Ghanaians to elect former President Mahama again. Abdul Hafiz says, Paul, we are not getting the metro in Bimbila. Can you do something about that? From Lamprey, I live in Asherman Official. It was all about agenda setting and doctrine of audio. Why is Godfrey Dame's voice not clear compared to that of Jakpa in the leaked audio? From Edward, this is what these NPP judges have been doing, manipulating every process in the country. From Alexander Sefa, NDC must up their game in this technology world. Gone are the days when few people had access to the internet and computers that the NDC used for fake documents and doctored tapes for votes. Ghanaians are widely awake. This is bogus. There is nowhere in the audio where you hear incorruptible A.G. Godfrey Dame influencing Jakpa to lie against Atufosin. Okay, Fatima.
All right, so this is coming from Abdullah Muntaka, and he says propaganda doesn't win court case. It will at best win you some public sympathy, which wouldn't matter to the issue before the court. If your lawyer's mission is to win your public sympathy and not to prove your innocence before the judge, then you are screwed. I pity Ato in all this. Now, coming from Togbe said it is sad that we have allowed the NDC, which is seeking to come back to power with the same person under tenor the botched ambulances were procured to trivialize this matter. This was a contract that yielded Ghana no benefit, with millions of taxpayers' money given to partisans, cronies, and we are being invited to discuss fraudulent tapes. I believe AG was engaging him because of Kulendi, and I'm not sure Godfrey would even consider engaging this guy if Kulendi was not involved. I'm surprised Justice Kulendi allowed him to put out this tape, knowing that AG was engaging him because of his position. Now coming from Mohammed Sharif, he says, good evening, Paul. May Allah bless you and your team. Indeed, this tape is a plot against the AG to prevent him to trial Atufosin. Coming from Lily Boss, he says there is an edit there, so NDC can't even do a perfect doctored tape. They are so incompetent. Coming from Kwejo Boachi, says this is the logic. Those of you calling for the head of Godfrey Dame, you are invariably calling for the whole body, not the head of the distinguished justice of the Supreme Court. Kulendi, if indeed this convo took place in his presence, only the wise will understand. Japa has caused more harm to the Supreme Judge than the learned AG. Now coming from Gastiman, he says, I wish the NPP never responded to this press conference. Esiedu Nketia demonstrated his ignorance about everything on earth. I wonder what he's looking for at his age, to the extent that he allowed himself for these babies with sharp teeth to manipulate him. And then lastly, coming from Kofi says the NDC seems not to understand the difference between law and propaganda. What do you have for us, Angelo?
Togu Izukuri says, proud of you, Sami Jemfi. Indeed, you are learned. Well, it seems some people approve of what the lawyer Sami Jemfi is doing. Isaac B. Kells asks, is Marietta Brew still at the bench? I thought she resigned long ago. Into this, Oneba Darko responds, she's not at the bench, but still a practicing lawyer of good standing. We have James Nibi saying, I said some time ago that with the political arrogance around him, Sami Jemfi was doomed to fail in life such that his party cannot save him. Okay, it's a bit harsh. Michael Nanakojo Apia says, Paul, I guess it should interest you that some of us need the right, the left, the center wings of the proceedings always. Given you're a journalist and media entity, for us to have in-depth understanding of active day in, day out happenings, it wasn't be left-wing crews all the time. Well, you might be happy all these brouhaha happening in courts because it's good for analysis and permutations. But our people say when one finger touches oil, it will touch the remaining four. Now from clap dance, they start. I don't get that. Anyway, moving on, Francis Maison says, please, let us leave Sami to go on. But one day, if we are not dead, we all shall see what will happen one day. Otua Preku says he has taken his arrogance, Sami Jemfi has taken his arrogance to the High Court. I miss Justice Atuguba. Let them give you fans, Sami. When the contempt law catches you, you will go alone. Akwesi says some perceived boldness can be tantamount to disrespect and judicial contempt. And Bawa Idris is a bit angry. He says Sami Jemfi should be arrested for scandalizing the court. And to this, Agbale Godslove Kwajo responds saying, look for Julius Malema's video. He continues, when he chastised a judge in England for wasting his time due to the judge's lateness. The courts are for humans. Now, King Abel says, Aseriun Ketia, a 67-year-old man, is behaving like Sami Jemfi. It's so sad that, I will omit this word. He says, it's so sad that these people want political power. Such an amateur doctor tape. Meanwhile, the 24-hour economy is not well explained. Can't wait to see Paul giving them free education. Okay, now, we've got Osei Adokufo lastly saying, Paul, I'm happy every Tuesday, but today I'm super happy because I was waiting for you today to further explain this so-called leaked tape. Thank God for your life. Okay, well, okay, I'll read one more quickly. Miss Jerry says, even the health minister under Mahama, Dr. Alex Sagbafia, said the ambulances secured by Atu Forson were not fit for purpose. It's clear Atu scammed Ghanaians, and all well-meaning Ghanaians should ensure he pays for it. The good people of Ghana hate corruption and corrupt leaders.
Mama Dada Nyo, may the dear Janamva, Dada spices are would running in every Jackso, and you never know yet.
If we come your job, we no use Dada spices. We don't go job. If I don't feel
Fish day inside, yeah, the natural spices, Papa Pana.
Noodles everywhere you go, Dada spices.
Just the
one. No more Dada spices.
The Lord taste na chicken.
Kaji go. But Dada spices here what Jenny say. Nanya good taste. If we say yeah the natural spices and I yeah you're gonna hey yo. I mean you want all purpose stew, noodles, curry and nutmeg and a jollof. Dada spices. Taste yummy. Taste lemon. Dada spices. Taste day inside. FDIG a jedi in kratoya too.
Yeah, Jama was in part of Fona. What in Rahua, a woman yinky kaya srono Eddie.
A sham. A mountain sound shisho. And a put a grown sweet. A yink kayan kasa.
Oh, I should to be.
The Jamal washing powder for furnace sachets akesi enum aba. Eyi nkekaya ankasa.
Anima.
Jamal washing powder bottle 30. Can you ma ode beji awari?
New Jamal washing powder. Emanya meniti. Nemusi ye sham. Ohukafo a oma wonta di eniti. FDA aje edwede nkrato yatumu.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot. You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
The patch of Bantama.
Matiasi.
A smile, the fresh breath.
Me, Gidi said we use Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind. Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's here. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasan. Kile kosen. Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Our stories begin right here, and we never write them alone. There'll be pages we love to read again and again, and some we want to tear out. They are stories of dreamers, stories of creators, stories of strivers, stories of believers, and we're inspired by them all. We invite you to write your story with us. Your story matters. APSA.
Alive soap.
Just like how water refreshes you on a hot sunny day, it takes a refreshing bath with a Life soap to feel its pleasant fragrances.
The soap I want and need at the end of every day.
Leaving you with soft, smooth and fresh looking skin.
You make me feel alive, you really brighten my day.
Available in lemon, coconut, rose and aloe vera fragrance. A Life soap. Feel fresh, feel alive.
Our stories begin right here, and we never write them alone. There'll be pages we love to read again and again, and some we want to tear out. They are stories of dreamers, stories of creators, stories of strivers, stories of believers, and we're inspired by them all. We invite you to write your story with us. Your story matters. APSA.
Welcome to Rehoboth.
Okay, welcome back to the show, and it's always a pleasure to get onto the sports touchscreen to tell you who won the FA Cup, who won the league, who won the Carabao Cup. Now, the reason why I like to do this sports on the touchscreen is that Arsenal Football Club were in their best season, and Arsenal's best was just second best. What do I mean by that? Andy is ready for us now. Let's see what. Andy, what do you have?
Yes.
The first time I see Pep Guardiola in a disappointing photograph at the end of the day.
Oh, yes.
The Super League winner.
Oh, yes.
What happened?
So they didn't turn up on the day.
City? They were not bad.
They were not bad, but they didn't turn up on the day. So Eric Ten Hag just devised a plan just to overload the midfield, and that was it. He watched the Real Madrid match, what Bellingham and also Valverde did in the midfield to stop Rodrigo.
De Bruyne.
So De Bruyne was yanked off as early as the 54th minute. He was just taken off.
Yeah, substitution was
very early. Very early.
So Man United are FA Cup champions.
Oh yes.
And thereby Europa League.
And then we have pushed Chelsea to the Conference League.
So Arsenal in their best season, they cannot win the league. United in its worst season, they win the FA Cup.
Yes.
That's a big club.
8th
on the table, win the FA Cup. Should we say that the injuries were unkind to United this season?
Yes. When we had our materials last season, we were third. At a point in time, we were even pushing City and Arsenal for the league title. You understand? And we're just behind Arsenal 6 points and City just 9 points. So, barring what happened this season, we had 45 injuries. And only centre-back pairings alone, 23 different centre-back pairings, the most in the whole Europe. So, just imagine.
So, the regular centre-backs would be Varane and also Martinez.
Yes. But
two of them will be the regular. But they never were able to be on the field at the same time as a result of injuries. So, they had Maguire. Lately had him in Casemiro.
Yes, Evans, Casemiro, even Luke Shaw played at a point in time.
In central midfield?
Yes. Even
central defense.
There's this little kid called Kambuala from the academy.
Yeah, he came out. I saw that. Okay.
It's really
so
sad.
Whose day was it? Was it Garnacho's day or was Kobe Mainoo's day?
Kobe Mainoo.
How? Why?
He was the midfield. Making Rodri. The reason why Kobe Mainoo took the day was Rodri. Rodri is this influential person in City's team. He has played 75 times and they have never lost.
So anytime he's on the field,
75 times he never lose.
I see.
So he lost when he met his meter, and then he was running around. Let's go to Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes said something. This is the women's team. You remember
they won the FA Cup.
Yes, and you said, can the men's team also
replicate that? Yeah.
Just 2 weeks later, and then we also won it. So let's move to our friend Paul Scholes. He says, don't waste your time with comparisons between us. He is 10 times the player I was at 19 years. Quite a huge statement from Paul Scholes himself.
The boy is special, he says.
Yes, he's a special talent. That at 19, what Kobe Mainoo is doing, he was 10 times the player that Paul Scholes was. And that's high praise. You understand?
Has Ghana lost him completely?
Completely.
He's going into the Euros for England.
Oh, yes.
But if he changes his mind,
he won't.
But is that an opportunity technically if he changes his mind with the FIFA rules?
Oh yes. He has to play not more than 3 matches, and for now he has played 2 matches. So
also only 1 game and he's out.
Yes.
England line up against who? Denmark?
Yes. So they have Denmark, and also they have Austria in their group, and I think Netherlands also. I have to check the groups again.
I see.
So yeah, we have lost him.
So Kobe Mainoo is a star of the moment. He'll be for United next season.
Hopefully.
Real Madrid is not coming for him.
If they come for big money, but I don't think we'll sell him. He's a one for the future. We have to build a team around him. Get a good DM next season. Casemiro is quite old, so get a good DM next season, and we are good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, that was Kobe Mainoo. There was this picture that was trending during the weekend.
That's interesting.
Yes, his mom brought out a picture of when he was a kid wearing a United jersey. You see.
He dreams and eats United.
Oh yes. It was really,
he grew up in Manchester.
Yes, Stockport. Closer to Manchester.
Yeah. Oh, so I see.
That's the man there chilling.
So he's living his dream.
Oh yes, he's living his dream. And this was his big sister, and also that's Kobe Mainoo watching the United reserves team those days. The sister said this was 2011. So you can see that he's United through and through.
Oh wow.
It's really nice.
I like the guy. It's a Ghanaian family, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they speak Twi,
everything. Yes. The sister is called Ama Mainoo, and he's also called Kwabena Mainoo.
Oh wow.
Yes, that's really nice.
Parents have done a good job.
Yes, and in 2022, at Old Trafford, they won the FA Youth Trophy in 2022 in May 19th.
Oh, I heard Garnacho was in that team as well.
Yes, he scored the winning goal, and that was Mainoo. This is Mainoo, and that's Garnacho.
Oh, they've known each other that long.
Yes, and then nicely cladded in the suits, and then they won on Saturday. You understand? Okay.
Oh wow, that's good.
And then talking about academy, this is the class of '92, and then United is still following in that footsteps. You understand? We have Ryan Giggs, Nicky Butts, Beckham, and then the Neville brothers, and then also Scholes. And this last guy, I have forgotten his name. I don't know where he passed. Maybe.
Gary and Phil Neville over there.
Yeah,
the Neville brothers. Just behind Beckham.
Yes. And that was a very good team.
Is that them again?
Yes, that was them 20 years later. That was shot in '92, and this was shot in 2012. So That was really nostalgic. So United continuing, and yes, a record is they are the first teenagers after Cristiano Ronaldo to score in the FA Cup final. Cristiano Ronaldo scored in the 2004 FA Cup final. Yes, that was against I've forgotten the team, Millwall. Yes,
Millwall were in at the time.
Yeah. West Ham's biggest rivals, Millwall. So they are the youngest duo to score in an FA Cup final. That's Kobe Mainoo, 19, and also your man Garnacho at 19 years old. That's really nice. And then Rashford was crying. And then,
why?
So he has had a lot of abuse during the whole season, and I think the emotions went to him. You understand?
The emotions about winning the trophy.
The players,
but he's been below himself this season. He must know that.
Yes.
He must know that.
From scoring 31 goals last season to this is really, really sad. And then that was the first goal. So I'm asking, was that a mistake between the goalkeeper? Who was the cause? Was it the goalkeeper or the defender?
Enemies of United said that it was organized so that United can take the lead. That's what they said.
Yes.
But I'm not sure whether the goalkeeper didn't see or the player didn't see that the goalkeeper was so close. He really should have seen it. Unless he had premeditated that I'm going to head the ball. Sometimes the players do that. I'm going to head this ball. So he gets himself in that position. Nothing is able to stop him. And I think he probably was in the air already when he saw the goalkeeper and he really couldn't do much about it. Garnacho just pounced, predatory, very, very predatory, and he got the goal for us.
That's really good. And yes, talking about the midfield, you see how they packed the midfield. They overloaded the midfield. So that was Rodri. He couldn't even get a chance to pass to De Bruyne, to Haaland, to Foden. They learned from what? Madrid against City. They did the same thing against Rodri.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
The same thing. See, the same
So
thing.
the antidote to stop the City fire is to overload the midfield.
Yes, overload the midfield.
With players who can control the ball. Good ball players. Yes. Okay.
So that was what Madrid also did at the Etihad and they qualified. So they learned a cue. So digest this. When Erik ten Hag joined United, we were 6 years trophyless. We have now won back-to-back trophies in 2 seasons. This is to the fact that we are hearing things that Erik ten Hag has been sacked by the board.
Yeah, they have to let him go, I think. One FA Cup may not be enough. I think he's not a bad coach. His issue is relationship. He's not able to build a relationship with the players. And if they tell him that he has a full contract, he might get into that mood again. Says, I'm the boss, do that. And they might destroy the situation. He has to learn to build relationships with people.
I feel sad for him. And yes, this was our centre-back pairing on that day, and then quite immense.
But Varane is going.
Yeah, his last game, he showed
up.
Where is
he going to?
He has not.
How old is he?
He's now 32. He's still very young.
He's a twilight.
He's still very young. But he has won everything he's supposed to win. Last season, they won the Carabao. This season, they have won the FA Cup. And yes, in United's worst season, Ten Hag was the manager of the month in November. Harry Maguire, player of the month in November. Garnacho, goal of the month in November. Bruno, goal of the month in September. Højlund, player of the month in February. Mainoo, goal of the month in February. And also Rashford, goal of the month in March. So even in United's worst season.
In the worst season, things are not that bad.
So you can actually see the players and the coach were doing their bits. And also let's talk about Bruno. That pass for the second goal.
No, the commentator thought that he had miskicked.
Yes.
That's what he said.
Yes.
And then he found out he didn't miskick at all. It was calculated.
Yes.
It was amazing. I mean, it reminded me of one of the greatest midfielders that I think has not been well celebrated. His name is Deco. Very, very fine midfielder. Deco has not been well celebrated. And when Bruno did that, I was telling the guy I was watching the film that this is like Deco.
Wow.
Deco was just instinctive with midfield distribution. I mean, that was amazing. And I'm wondering why Kobe Mainoo had to struggle to kick with his right and why he didn't kick with his left. Is he not very strong on the left?
Not strong. So he had to
adjust his body, and then he placed it with the right. And he made the placement quite obvious. If the goalkeeper was alert, he just would have grabbed it because it was very obvious the way he was doing. I was wondering, can't the guy kick the ball with his left? Because the ball it was coming through to him. His left was there, but he used his right. But credit to Bruno Fernandes. I mean, that was an amazing pass.
A great captain there. And yes, so that was KDB says, I think Bruno is a creative machine in general. Odegaard is very creative, but a little bit more controlled. Maddison is also really creative, but I need to see more of him in a big team. Fernandes has been doing this for a long time. So they asked him before the match that these 3 players, that's Odegaard, Maddison, and also Bruno, who is the best? And he was saying Bruno. That was before the match. He knew that Bruno has been doing this for years.
Just Kevin De Bruyne talking.
Yes, he himself saying that Bruno has been doing this for years. And he was young.
He was substituted,
as early as the 54th minute, and it was very, very sad. And Kyle Walker also said congratulations to also United for winning the trophy. It's been probably not their best season, but hopefully that's some justification for some of my friends. And this is where people were saying, oh, so City actually sold the match to United. But see, United played from the first
seem to have played well.
Yes,
I mean,
to the
I think
last
throughout
one.
the season, this is the best performance.
The best
playing against a very good team,
Yes.
top team, and they were able to deliver it. How come Onana considered that goal through his hands? This guy they must send him back to Inter Milan.
I just don't understand that goal. He caught, very, very difficult balls, and he let that ball
Yes. There was a shot that he played
from Kyle Walker. He saved that ball.
That was
I just don't
massive.
understand
That was
why.
massive.
And also Ten Hag, and you can see our man behind us. He was just very, very dejected. That was the first time he has lost a domestic final for the past 12 years. The last time he lost it was against Real Madrid, the Copa del Rey in 2011. Ronaldo scored that goal against Barcelona. And yes, Rodri, he had 75 straight matches. He has lost now. So yes.
Wow.
75 straight matches.
75 games he hasn't lost. It's not been a game where they lost.
When
When Arsenal played them at the Emirates, he wasn't in.
He wasn't in.
He wasn't in.
He was injured. He was injured. So every match he plays is either a win or a draw.
And now they lost.
Kobe Menu effect. Yes, the Kobe Menu effect. And let's talk about the trophies. The trophies now. United has 60 domestic trophies. Liverpool 53, Arsenal 46, Man City 31, Chelsea 23, and then Spurs 21.
United top on the list of domestic trophies. But Arsenal lead in the FA Cup. Arsenal have 14 in the FA Cup, United have 13. One more, United will catch up with them. So United lead in the league trophy with 20 times. And in FA Cup, they are second to Arsenal with 13. So if next year United win the FA Cup, 14. Maybe next year Arsenal will win, I don't know.
Hopefully. So this was the City players. You could see they didn't come. People were saying they didn't dress for the occasion. The United players
before the game.
Yes, when they were entering, they just wore some polo shirts and then trousers. They look very casual coming into the match.
Not a regular suit.
Oh no suits, nothing. And then people were complaining. Yes, and that was Fergie. If Fergie is happy, we are all happy. for the first time in a long while, seeing the old man happy.
Were they celebrating the final whistle?
The final whistle.
The final whistle.
Yes. And that was the new owner, Ineos, also very happy, and also the Glazers. They were also happy there. You see, they are all happy.
Are the Glazers going to sell more shares to the Abu Dhabi man?
Hopefully. And yes, during the weekend, Saturday, they won the final match. That's the FA Cup, the DFB Pokal. So they lost. Funny enough, they lost the Europa League final against Atlanta 3-0.
I saw that.
Yes.
I saw it. Quite disappointing.
Lookman.
So Lookman made it happen.
52 matches unbeaten. They just lost one match. So a very good season for them. And do you think he should move on?
Who is this?
Alonso.
Xabi Alonso as coach of Bayer Leverkusen.
Do you think he should
Does
move
Chelsea want him?
Oh, no, he shouldn't go to Chelsea.
Does Arsenal want him?
They are good with Arteta.
Barcelona, do they have a coach?
Yeah, then they
found one.
Yeah, Hansi Flick.
Okay, I think you should do another season with Leverkusen. Let's see. Let's see.
And
let's see whether he'll begin to sow the seeds of one of the greatest coaches.
People are saying you should wait for Ancelotti to leave. Ancelotti is leaving next season, so hopefully.
Oh, so he can go to Real.
Yes.
Did he play for Real?
Yes.
He did. Okay.
And City, regardless, even though they lost, they still did the parade yesterday. And you could see this was last year. That was Grealish this year. Doku. You can see they still had the party regardless. 4 in a row, so they were so happy. And Harry Kane, he has officially won the Golden Boots.
In the Bundesliga?
No, the whole of Europe. 36 goals.
This season?
Yeah.
Better than Haaland?
Better than Haaland.
Really?
Haaland had 27 goals. So, Haaland has 27 goals. And then Harry Kane has 36 goals. And then Sergio Guirassy, brother from Guinea, at Stuttgart. Stuttgart. His release cost is just 20 million. I feel Chelsea and United should just grab him. He will be a very good second striker. Very, very good.
Is he an arrowhead?
Yes.
Oh wow! And he got 28
goals for a Guinean.
What club is he playing for?
Stuttgart. And they play second. Yes, they play second above Bayern Munich.
Oh, Bayern came third.
Yes, on the last day.
In the Bundesliga.
Yes, they lost
3.
They lost.
Wow, Harry Kane is not lucky.
Yeah, Erling Haaland 27, Mbappe 27, and yes, so Harry Kane.
Seu did better than Kylian Mbappe.
Oh, yes.
And Erling Haaland.
Oh yes.
I can't believe that. Yes. That's a great story for Africa. And he plays for Guinea.
Yeah.
Oh wow, fantastic.
Very, 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 very fantastic player. You understand? So that's it. And also, the final. The final will be coming.
I'm going for Dortmund, unfortunately. I'm going for Dortmund and Jude Bellingham.
Wow.
Jude Bellingham on one side and Dortmund. The reason is that I don't want Real Madrid to win another title. They are my team, but it's okay. They've won the European Cup too many times. Dortmund haven't won, have they?
They have won once.
How many years ago?
97.
97. Yeah, I think they deserve it. And because of their meteoric rise onto the final, and the final always gives the effect of a surprise. I think Wembley is ready for Dortmund to win the title.
Okay.
But Jude Bellingham will be the man of the game. There he is, Jude Bellingham. I think he's the greatest midfielder of his generation, and I'm hoping to see him in the Euros. That's where I'm going to look at him. When he comes up against, say, Italy or France or Germany, I want to see how he commands the midfield. With Kobe Mainoo in attendance, Declan Rice, that's going to be a beautiful England team to watch. Who's going to be the arrowhead there? Because there's only Watkins, who I hear some of the old players prefer to Harry Kane. I'm not so sure. Harry Kane is the captain of the team, isn't he?
They will still start Harry Kane.
Yeah, they'll have to start Harry Kane. But Oli Watkins could have a chance.
Our man could also have a say in the finals.
Jordan Sancho is in the Dortmund.
Yeah.
England didn't call him for the provisional team. If he's able to win the Champions League and has a great game, there'll be pressure on the coach to include him in the lineup. Okay.
So let's finish off with Chelsea. And Chelsea are going for young. They said they want young managers. You understand?
Oh, Chelsea have a new manager?
No, they are still searching.
Okay.
So this is the Leicester manager, Maresca, and also a former United manager, assistant manager, McKenna. That was Ole's assistant. He's at Ipswich. He qualified Ipswich to...
Oh, he did?
Yes.
He was with Ole?
Yes, and then he left Ole and went to Ipswich and took them from League One and then now in the Premier League in just 2 years.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yes. So,
okay.
Yeah, I think Chelsea should probe better and then choose the best man. Yeah. Okay, so this has been...
wow, this is sports. Okay, so who's your pick for Champions League? Who's going to win?
Madrid.
Oh, you think Madrid. At Wembley?
Yes, they'll do an Al Ali. Al Ali won on Sunday against Esperance. You can see, no matter how, they had a red card very early on, but they still won the match 1-0. When you are built for the tournament...
Al Ali are also the African champions.
They've won it 12 times.
The way Real Madrid wins the European Cup.
Yes. So,
Ali won it in 1982 when they beat Asante Kotoko.
Yes.
And in 1983, Asante Kotoko beat them to win it. Then sometime, I think in 92 or so, they beat Asante Kotoko again on penalties. Chairman Ampia is the one who gave them.
Now they have 12 and then Kotoko still has 2.
Kotoko has 2. Kotoko has 2. Yeah, the first one is 70 and the next one is 2. Hasselhoff have 1. Olympics don't have.
No.
But in Kumasi, Asante Kotoko beat Hasselhoff 2-0. I saw the second goal by
Is
he a Burkinabe?
No, Ugandan.
The guy is good.
The guy is good. Very good.
He picked the ball well. He turned well.
Very good.
Wrap up his man and then he turned out the shot. The stadium went agog. I saw it.
Yes, he's the top scorer of the league now. So 14 goals.
For Asante Kotoko. Kotoko are in which position?
They are around 8 now.
So as their management boardroom wranglings been resolved, is Ogum in charge fully? Everything is going on well.
It's now hard to folk that around there.
Having a problem.
They are flirting around the relegation zone. So just imagine Hasselhoff goes to relegation.
No, Hasselhoff will not go to relegation. Hasselhoff will not go to relegation.
Yes.
There will be no Ghana Premier League. Hasselhoff is on relegation.
Wow.
Okay, great. Okay, great, Andy. Let's look forward to a great weekend with the Champions League football final, Real Madrid and Dortmund.
In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
Just like how water refreshes you on a hot sunny day, it takes a refreshing bath with a Life soap to feel its pleasant fragrances.
The soap I want and need at the end of every day,
Leaving you with soft, smooth and fresh looking skin.
You make me feel alive, you really brighten my day, my day.
Available in lemon, coconut, rose, and aloe vera fragrance. Alive soap. Feel fresh, feel alive.
Papa is walking.
Herbal Hospital. Specialists in every kind of bone disease.
Herbal Hospital. Eh, baby, a son of Nanso, yare etimi sapa dompemu yare.
Spinal cord, swelling of the arms, arthritis, bone injury, swelling of the leg with reddish color around it, and so on. See, Herbal Hospital has special ultra-modern machine for checking up the body. I have tried them and I got good results. Try Herbal Hospital.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot. You always get way more with Betway.
These adverts have been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Customer.
Nadabena minka metra papa. Metra 10 Ghana.
10 Ghana.
10 Ghana cedis.
No dia, send now benya.
10 Ghana cedis no. Me dia. 54,000 Ghana cedis.
54,000.
540 million.
Here. We are the one who na make me die is kase.
Yeah. Ene na giga ade tena we. Tena wa boki. Draw no na asase no. Mami mi volume.
Customer. One of our daily lucky winners. Dial *946# to play now. Or you can also play online at www.gamepackgames.com. Game Park is regulated by the National Lottery Authority.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot. You always get way more with Betway.
These adverts have been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Alassane Bello is here to give us the authentic information about African security, politics, geopolitics, and we'll do a bit about Iran tonight. So, international relations students, take your pen, take your paper. I got my pen. He's going to explain to us. Bello, who are these on the television?
These are the two main, I think, the main coup plotter, and this is one of his main target, an ally of President Felix Tshisekedi.
Where is the former president? What's his name? Kabila. Where's Kabila in all of this? Well, so first, just as a background, has there been a coup in Congo DR?
The last coup was when Mobutu ousted, Mobutu took over power after the assassination of Patrice Lumumba during the famous Congo crisis of the 1960s. But then subsequently, Congo has never had peace because there have been a series of civil wars. I remember Joseph Kabila's father, Laurent Kabila, came to power after a series of leading a rebellion against Mobutu. And then we had the Congo War, which nearly became African version of the World War, because you had neighboring countries intervening, some on the government side and some on the side of the rebels.
You mean neighboring countries intervening with a vested interest?
Yeah, of course.
Not in terms of peacekeeping, but with a particular vested interest.
Well, depending on what's at stake. Countries like Zimbabwe, Uganda, and then Tanzania at one point backed the government in the first Congo Civil War.
The government of Mobutu Sese Seko?
No, Laurent Kabila.
Oh, Laurent Kabila, more recent.
After the defeat of Mobutu Sese Seko.
Laurent Kabila chased out Mobutu.
Yeah, Mobutu.
Mobutu chased out Patrice Lumumba, organized by the West, as is alleged. And then Mobutu became a president, but he wasn't a very great president. But Mobutu enjoyed the proxy leadership from the Cold War.
Yeah, he benefited from the Cold War. So
as a proxy of sorts.
Preventing the spread of communism.
Absolutely. And he stood for what he thought was capitalism, or he expressed himself in a capitalist context.
Yeah.
And so Congo is an important country. And that's why Kwame Nkrumah sent our troops there, because Nkrumah was hoping that the fertility of the Congo doesn't fall in the hands of the imperialists.
Yeah, it's called the heartbeat of Africa.
That's what he tried to prevent.
Yeah.
But King Leopold had probably better luck than we did, and Leopold was able to continue to control Congo for a long time. But Congo is a great country that should recover and become a normal country like Ghana, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire. If that were to happen, Congo is the same size as Western Europe. The entire Congo is the same size as Western Europe. DR Congo is the same size as Western Europe, and they have tremendous. I think it's the world's most resource country. There's a book entitled "Too Rich for Peace," and it's about Congo. I can't remember who. I think it's Paul Collier.
Collier had what he wrote.
Too rich for peace. That Congo is too rich for them to peace. Too much vested interest: lithium, gold, cocoa, everything.
Cobalt and the likes.
Everything. In terms of minerals, the stones, Congo has everything. So right now, is the government stable?
Well, the government has recovered. The coup d'etat failed. I don't know whether to say it was ill-planned or ill-timed. We can't tell for sure. But then one of the main targets was Vital Kamerhe. Is one of the president's core ally. It seems he was being touted to be the next prime minister also.
But Tshisekedi won elections just recently.
And there was this view by some people that the previous election in 2018 that took Joseph Kabila out of office was actually won by Martin Fayulu, per independent observers, including the Catholic Church in DR Congo, the National Episcopal Conference. They believe that per their own tally, Fayulu won the election, not Tshisekedi. But you see, Tshisekedi also comes from a very strong family. His own father, Etienne Tshisekedi, was a veteran opposition leader. So people felt there was
opposite to who?
To both Mobutu
and Kabila.
Okay. Prior to that, the father served as a prime minister to Mobutu along the line.
Oh, I see.
So there was this belief that in 2018, there was a deal between Felix Tshisekedi and Joseph Kabila. To protect him after leaving office.
To hand over to him.
Yeah. So
is it something similar to what they were trying to do in Kenya between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga? Two former political families sort of coming together, and is it a thing that East Africa or something like that? But it's an interesting arrangement. Political opponents originally, but then sort of trying to hand over to him.
I think the region has some form of dynastic alliance and misalliance, and sometimes could boil down to so many issues. So people felt that is the issue. But somewhere last year, there was this reshuffle that was done by Felix Tshisekedi, both within the military and within the political circle. And per some analysts, it was an attempt to create his own power base and weaken the support or strength of, what do you call it, Joseph Kabila.
Whose passport is here? Why do you show that?
So in the coup d'etat, there's perhaps an Israeli link and an American link.
Oh, that's interesting. It's a proxy coup?
Well, the details are not yet clear, so it's quite difficult to say, because after thwarting the coup, they just kept everything.
But in terms of business interests, is it that do the Belgians still control Congo? Because I see a lot of Nigerian businessmen are moving to Congo these days. Egyptian businessmen are in Congo these days.
I think the French are more influential in Congo than
the Belgians.
They
are all French though, so it's difficult to tell between a French white man and a Belgian white man.
Yeah, but when it comes to Belgium, you have the Walloons and the
but if they are speaking French, they may be from Belgium.
French, but then automatically, but I think I don't know the amount of influence Belgium still retains, but the French have grown in influence, and then likewise the Chinese. The Chinese are becoming
Chinese have been there.
Made great strides.
Where do the Congolese elite travel to when they go to Europe? Is it to Brussels or to Paris?
Well, mostly they go to Brussels.
And so
then they go to Brussels and Paris. They just go in between.
Brussels and Paris is just about an hour away
so they just,
by train.
They shuffle around.
Yeah, so it would suggest that if they go to Brussels, then perhaps Belgium still has control.
So they just shuffle around.
Okay.
So, but then what happened is that the main coup plotter himself is a very flamboyant politician.
This is the coup plotter?
Yeah.
Christian Malanga. He's not a soldier.
He's a veteran. He was a former soldier.
Okay, former soldier. But you show him his suit. So
but he's a
when he's a coup plotter, won't see beret.
But he's based in America.
Oh, that's where he lives.
That's where he lives. And here he is. These are some of the suspects. Here is his son. But here he was killed.
His son was arrested?
The son was arrested.
Oh,
but he was killed.
Who was killed?
He himself.
The coup leader?
Malanga, yeah.
Oh, he's died?
He died.
Over this recent crisis?
He died in the process. But the son was detained. Along the line, an American was also arrested. And here he is. And this is his passport.
Who is he?
He's an American businessman.
Benjamin Ruben, is that his name?
He's an American businessman that is found together with him.
Oh.
And then also this an Israeli link where somewhere, I think within the last decade, he also traveled to Israel and inspected arms industry.
Oh, in the company of who?
The same American he went with. So it's quite murky at the moment, and I don't know, perhaps because of the diplomatic implications.
What is it called? A spy shop? What's that?
It's an Israeli company.
Based in Israel?
Based in Israel.
Oh, I see.
But it's owned by, what do you call it?
This man?
Yeah, by this man.
His name looks like Benjamin Ruben.
Yeah.
So Benjamin Ruben has an arms company is it Tel Aviv in Israel?
He operates a company in Israel, but he's an American citizen.
But yeah, but the company in Israel, he operates, sells and buys arms?
They are into military, the arms space. But I don't even know if they are subcontractors where they just sell the arms, or they are also manufacturers. But then, so it makes it quite difficult to identify the rationale behind the coup. Was it, what do you call it, orchestrated by the Israeli side, or?
But Tshisekedi is serving a constitutional term, isn't it?
Yes.
When does it end?
His second term, I think he won election last year, so he has another 5 years.
So is there parliament working regularly? Which party has control over parliament? Does Joseph Kabila's party have control over parliament?
So in the post-2018 election, whilst winning the presidency, Kabila's allies retained control of the parliament. So that limited.
That's significant.
Yeah, so that limited his ability. And people felt that was a bargain. I give you the presidency.
I take the parliament.
I retain
to protect Joseph Kabila himself and his legacy.
And that's why when he started making his own maneuvering and reshuffling, people felt it was an attempt to weaken Kabila. And then post that, I think he gained enough strength in parliament to be able to have his way. And so he was touting, Vita to become the prime minister per suggestion. That was why Vita was one of the main targets.
That's the political system they operate, where the president
appoints the prime minister. The French system.
The French system. Okay.
So people felt he was targeted as part of the emerging leadership of parliament. So now what we don't know is to what extent is Joseph Kabila aware of the coup, and to what extent were the security forces themselves also aware, because the coup appeared to be thwarted prematurely.
That is to say, the coup plotters themselves stopped at a certain point?
No, the plan looked very crude. Like, you just moved in few numbers, attacked the residence of Kame, and the next target was President Tshisekedi. But if you look at the images and the way it was organized, they were just moving with light arms. And if you know the size of DR Congo, to be able to plot a coup with light arms look quite...
It wasn't professionally executed.
Done. So the argument is that perhaps it wasn't the due date for the coup, but knowing that the cover has been blown, you need to do, you need to bring the date forward.
Or were they doing a Prigozhin, just drawing attention to themselves, not really wanting to overthrow the government, but drawing attention to themselves, and then they can cut a deal?
No, but if you look at the target, it looks like the main idea was to either arrest the president or eliminate him and the potential prime minister. But so you get a cloud. But if you look at the number of people involved and the area of the target, was just few numbers. And also, you see, in a coup, you don't have the backing of the military. It's difficult for it to succeed.
But how did they not have the backing of the military? These are people who are not part of the mainstream military.
You know, he retired.
Like him and like his Nigerian American friend.
Yeah, you know, he left the army. So the question now is, to what extent were the security forces themselves aware of the coup? To To what level? What was their level of involvement? To what extent is Joseph Kabila also involved in the coup? Was he aware? Was he backing it or not? And one of the targets also was John Pierre Bemba, the ex-rebel leader who was nearly prosecuted at The Hague.
Yeah.
He was also one of the targets.
Does he live in Congo?
He lives in Congo.
Oh,
He's now an ally of Tshisekedi.
Ah, okay. That's
it.
it.
He was also another target. But he escaped because he wasn't around at the time.
They went to his house.
Yeah.
To try and execute him. I see.
And that due to the history of rebellion and the people coming back to the army, while some rebel leaders have been integrated into the army, the Congolese army is not as monolithic as other national armed forces.
What does that mean? Not monolithic?
In the sense
that too many godfathers?
After each rebellion, you do this, what you call peace agreement, then you reintegrate the rebels into the army. So in Congolese context, individuals are more influential than the traditional military hierarchy. Depend on their origin. You remember the like of Laurent Nkunda of the I forgot his rebel movement, who rebelled, signed a peace agreement with the Congolese armed forces, came back to the government side, later went renegade again and revolted again. And Bosco Ntaganda, you could not talk about Sultani Makenga of the M23 rebel movement. And people have also argued that Rwanda equally has a role in it. So the question is Rwanda equally involved in this coup? Because Rwanda is now a prime suspect when it comes to foreign actors within the Congolese space. And that also did back to 1994 Rwanda genocide. So they defeated Abiy Rahman's nationalist government. When they left Kigali after the triumph of RPF, came into the Congolese jungle.
To do what? To hide or to fight?
Remnant of the defeated government.
Yeah, they came to hide over there.
Yeah, they took refuge on Congolese soil, but kept orchestrating attacks.
Also, they constituted a threat to
Rwanda.
Kagame's
and Rwanda, and that became a justification for Rwanda to pursue some of this element into Congolese territory. But then some have also argued that it has now moved into a business deal where Rwanda benefits from exploitation of the resources.
In Congo?
Yeah, there's this belief that Rwanda export more diamond than it has. And the question now is, where does it get it from? So people believe that by backing the rebels in DR Congo, it begins to benefit from
There's a standard rebel group in DR Congo
that
they can back.
Now you have the M23.
And most of them are Rwandese?
No, but some of them have Rwandan influence. And some of them are ethnic Hutus.
Oh,
because of the nature of the African borders, like tribes are
artificial. So the tribes cut across. Yeah. So there are Hutus in Congo and there are Hutus in Rwanda.
And then when it comes to Uganda, Uganda has another interest in Congo. The AFD, which is fighting the government of Yoweri Museveni. You call it operate on the Congolese soil. And so Congo is a very murky situation.
So it's difficult to relocate the interest of the coup and all
at the
of
moment.
That. Okay. The original interest, the secondary interest, the tertiary interest.
And then the government is also not releasing information.
They're not compelled to. They don't have media, vociferous media like
that. So having thwarted the coup,
they should come and say something.
Yeah, so that we would know the full detail, but they're also keeping quiet. So I don't know, perhaps because of the Americans involved, and so they might be this diplomatic.
So the government of Congo is going on as usual.
Yeah, it's going on as usual.
I see.
It has not been disrupted.
Okay, interesting. What else do we have?
But the question now is, if other countries are involved, like the neighboring countries, because Congo has a very, very particular problem. One, the Congolese elite themselves are divided. Secondly, the interests of global powers, especially when it comes to resources, and the emerging competition between US and the Western world, vis-a-vis Russia and China, the emerging alliance. You also have the existing issue of Congo's neighbor itself.
Congo's neighbors?
Yeah, the neighbors. With competing interests. Some for security reasons are forced to intervene, like the Ugandan case where they have to chase the AFD into the Congolese territory. And then you have the likes of Kagame, who have been accused of benefiting from Congolese resources. So you have that economic security interest. So I think at best, we need to see a regional effort to stabilize the Congo. They've been deployment. For the first time in UN history, UN peacekeepers are allowed to go on offensive.
Oh, in Congo?
Yeah, in Congo.
Against the rebels?
Yeah, the intervention brigade.
Oh, I see.
Because they realize that traditional peacekeeping machine is not working in DR Congo. You need to disarm ethnic militias who are outside government control and who are equally not structured in form of traditional rebel group. They are difficult to track. You also have some remnant of LRA, the Lord Resistance Army of Joseph Kony.
That's an old fashion.
In as much as
the Lord Resistance Army.
In as much as the bulk of his troops and Kony himself are believed to be operating in Central African Republic. Some element of LRA are also in Congo. So UN empowered that particular unit, the intervention brigade, to go on offensive. But beyond military approach, looking at the regional interests involved in DR Congo, I think a dialogue at the regional level or at the continental level to be able to what you call find an amicable solution whereby you secure Congo's sovereignty without also neglecting the interests of other countries, be it security or economic, so we may have a finality to this whole problem. Because peace has eluded Congo for far too long. And if you remember one of the letters, I think in his final letter, one of the concerns of Patrice Lumumba was about peace in DR Congo. And he said, he was talking about freedom. You know, one of the things people felt that his biggest sin was on the day of independence where he was not supposed to speak.
I remember that. He gave a brutal speech.
Which for him...
threatening the Belgians.
But it wasn't a threat. He was just being frank. The Belgians were not prepared to give independence. And practically, there was no reason to be grateful to an exploiter. And we still see...
Yeah, but the benefits of hindsight, this geopolitics, if you are working it out, you have to gain a bit of strength
if we talk about
before you start
if we talk about,
dealing with the foreign powers.
If we talk about Holocaust, we are not denying Holocaust. It killed about 6 million Jews. But Leopold in Congo killed more than the Jews. And we can't forget that. So when
it's about who is counting.
It's about
who is counting the
dead.
When he had CNN counting the dead.
So when he had the chance, he said the fact, which I agree with him. I will have said this.
No, everyone does agree. What people wonder is whether it was wise, given all the circumstances, to blurt out those facts. The facts that he spelled out on that occasion were heroic, and they were correct, and they were true. But with the benefit of hindsight, if Patrice Lumumba, great as he is, had managed his relationship better with the Belgians, Africa would have benefited more from his philosophy. But here it is now, Africa didn't benefit from his philosophy because he got killed too early. He actually got murdered. It's not killed, he got murdered. And with complicity, suspected complicity of the United Nations. So that's a major thing.
Yeah, and Nkrumah particularly.
Nkrumah pointed that out several times.
That he regretted placing Ghanaian army under the command of
the United Nations because he could have given them under the command of Patrice, and he believed that they would have saved his life. Captain Chikata in those days was commanding the company.
I think in Rwanda perhaps we learned a better lesson because the only unit that stood its ground protecting Africans
was the Ghanaian contingent. Led by Arnold Quaino, by the way. We have to mention that. I hope he's still.
So I think that was probably a lesson we learned from Congo that we cannot rely on.
So it's a lesson for all of young people as well, that if Patrice Lumumba had managed himself better, Africans would have benefited from his philosophy. He would have been around in the 1970s. He would have been around in the 1980s. He would have had something to say about apartheid. He would have had something to say about the Soweto massacre. He would have had something to say about Zimbabwe's independence. He would have been an iconic figure by 1982. And all of us who were born in the late 70s, mid-70s to late 70s and the 80s, we would have seen Patrice Lumumba speak, and it would have affected our caliber. We would have been proud of him. But he blurted out something he really shouldn't have said on that occasion. He was less powerful than those that he was fighting. He was weaker than those that he was fighting. He didn't recognize that he's weaker than those that he's fighting. They killed him.
And unfortunately, he rather promoted Mobutu.
He did. In the circumstances, they were looking for somebody to take over from him. Somebody who had a certain kind of popularity. You know, Mobutu, and in that context, Mobutu's imagery is very similar to Amin. Amin came in for Milton Obote. And Obote was cast in the mold of this kind of person. Not as much as Kwame Nkrumah or Jomo Kenyatta in terms of their strong left-wing philosophy and anti-colonialist rhetoric. The Obote was not like that.
But it was seen more to be a very reactionary person, very slow.
Yes. But Obote was a civilian leader, and it looks like he was bargaining for something with the colonial authorities they didn't like. So they were looking for a popular figure. You can even bring that to modern politics and look at the South African situation of the arrival of Zuma into the South African president. Very similar. They're looking for somebody who is popular to take over from somebody whose philosophy they don't like. This is what happens. Mbeki's philosophy they didn't like it. But Mbeki was brilliant. So you're looking for somebody whose philosophy you don't like. You bring in somebody who is sort of popular. that was Mobutu, that was Zuma, that was Idi Amin Dada, and that has been the story of Africa. Even Liberia, the level of Samuel Doe against Talbot, is something very similar. They were looking for Doe was a popular soldier and everybody liked him. I mean, I won't talk about Rawlins because I don't think that's the same situation. But Africa has been suffering from this situation quite.
I think it's this
even with Libya,
discipline attached with the military.
They wanted King Idris out because he was looking to have Libya control
by the West.
The West. The West wanted Idris out at some point. Even though they won't say, they wanted Idris out because he was trying to introduce negotiations they didn't like. Quickly, they look for Captain Gaddafi, popular in the army. Let's go with him. And then, again, Osama bin Laden, during the Iran-Iraq war, brought up as some popular person, and then eventually, so there's quite a lot of that in the situation.
You see,
use and dump.
No, a Cold War had a lot of opportunism at stake. You just find somebody you can use and dump. But I think when it comes to the issue of Africans and the French and the Belgians, see, it would have been easier for somebody like Lumumba to have worked with the British. But you see, the French and the Belgians were very punitive in their exit. They take away everything, including what they don't even deserve to go with. Same thing was done to DR Congo. Civil servant, everybody was just Congo was just left idle, and I think that was one of the reasons why he was like blunt.
Well, we'll continue to read about him, but it's unfortunate that he didn't stay.
So one of the things he was saying, it was a long speech, and this is just a part of it. This was never he was talking about freedom. This was never the desire of the Belgian colonialists and their Western allies, who received direct, indirect, open, or concealed support from some of the highly placed officials of the United Nations. The border upon which we place our hope when we appeal to it for help. They seduced some of our compatriots, brought others, and did everything to distort the truth and smear our independence. That's been the problem of Congo. You have the domestic actors themselves, who, for lack of a better word, are either conniving or benefiting. So it's a very murky situation. This short pitch encapsulates everything that is bad with DR Congo. And I think for me, it's either SADC or the regional body takes a lead, because now you have multiple interests. You have to have some quid pro quo. Yours is security concern. So how do we deal with it? Partner of the Congolese army. Let's address this so that we don't undermine each other's interests. So they have to have either at the regional level or at the continental level. But Congo must be an area of focus because it has lacked peace for far too long, for generations.
Too rich for peace. Okay, but let's leave it here unless you have something else to add. That's Alassane Bello talking to us about security matters. He's had some reports on the situation in Iran, but we'll give him some time to study it some more because we want him to connect it to the African context, and then we'll be good to go. We'll take a short break. After that, we'll come back and continue with the rest of the show. Welcome to an interview session on Sudina ya boswe, Awawedina ya boswe, Yebese obun samjuma ni nara, Yenya bosu jidie mu centre ni bedie.
Right, so on the sports story, Master Planner from Kentampo says, still, Eric must go. He can't deceive us with this FA Cup. What annoys me most is seeing Chelsea on top of us on the league table. Manchester United is winning the EPL next season, so we need a solid coach to do that. Now, on this same story, Ajakpiri says Arita won in its first season and he was not 8. United bias is not allowing you to be factual on this. And then lastly, on the Congo story, E.B. Ofei says, Paul, a point of polite correction. It was Koko's dad, Jin, and Yudoho, and not Kweno, who led the Ghanaian contingent to save Rwanda. Buffalo Soldier was rather the ECOMOG commander in Liberia. What do you have for us, Zanzibar?
Alright, so from Kwabna Jimfi, Man U won not because they were better than Man City, but they just got lucky. Man City had more shots on target, greater possession than Man U. Biased analysis. From Mel Kwabna, he says just one win. Emmanuel Owusu is saying, is this program a Manchester United program and an anti-Arsenal program? Yes, okay. Over to you.
Now back to the Attorney General story. Master Planner Junior watching us from Kempton Post says that the NDC rather did a press concert. It was full of jokes and comedy. It is a shame that the purported 26-minute evidence video changed to 16 minutes. Is this the political party that wants Ghanaians to vote for them? NDC, never again. It is possible with DNB. Now, Refat Hussein Igunu says, Asiodun Ketia has literally jailed Atuforsen with his needless and propaganda press conference. This tape is so empty that they couldn't play a clearer voice of Godfred Dame, except when he said he doesn't need Japa to make his case. Dame is beyond damning. Now, Husseini Papanko says, if not the NDC, who on earth in this highly sophisticated technological era would fall below the belt in thinking that they can profit from their usual sugar-coated pills of poisonous deceit in this Atu case? The channel says, Paul, I don't blame the NDC, rather Ghanaian media is a disappointment. The media is encouraging and fueling the propaganda of the NDC. Paul, what happened to the ethics of the media? Joy FM has lost their credit. No, we can't say that. Now, Moses Ade-Ena says that the NDC is capitalizing on the ignorance of Ghanaians to score political points. The NDC went to court in 2020 without evidence, yet they deceived the Ghanaian populace that they won the elections. Meanwhile, during their internal elections, Asiodun Ketia campaigned against his rival and revealed that they did not even have any figures at all. The collation software broke down few hours of collation. It is about the time that the NPP communicators also upped their game and exposed Asiodun Ketia big time. He is very corrupt, I think. Now, Mercy Ejekum says that the NDC has no message at all, just relying on Atuforsen's case so they will be heard. They are so disingenuous. You could hear the AG saying theory, and the Asiodun Ketia intentionally used the word deal. And
says Arsenal is into football marketing with no interest in trophies. Very cheeky. Emmanuel also thinks that Terry, you're being a bit biased. And lastly, again, Gemma says, Paul, the NDC boys and girls are not interested in football. They're waiting for your uppercuts, lower bells, shoulder punches, and overall TKO on Atuforsen and Sabi Jemfi. Anyway, Paul, let's get on with the show.
Welcome to an interview session on tonight's edition of a special Tuesday show. I have Felix Appiah here with me. He's an interesting gentleman. He lives in Canada. He has a podcast, which is the Felix Appiah podcast. And he's going to talk to us about his political views. You might have seen him on podcast on social media once or twice, but here he is. Hello, Felix. Good evening.
Hello, Senior Paul.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming. Where in Canada do you live?
Toronto.
You live in Toronto. Dr. Baumia is there now.
Yes.
What's he doing?
Actually, he's on his tour to the US and also to Canada, pretty much the Americas. And there's also other things that he had to do, especially in the US. They're having their 30th anniversary of NPP branch. And then when you come to Canada, it's 32 years since the NPP branch has been...
Canada started before the US?
Yes, they. I think in history, they think they are the first... that was
international
the first international branch that was open. So he went to Virginia on Saturday, and then it was an amazing event, being able to let people know the vision that he also wants to bring, in addition to what His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has done. And then he brought it again yesterday to Canada, and it was wonderful. It happened at the Church of Pentecost, and when you see the pictures and the videos, and also you see the way he was able to connect with the people. One thing that has been a challenge for me when it came to him was that even though for Canada, I mean, he's gone to school there, he's worked there and all of that, people were not still getting to get the damn like grasp of it that, hey, this is the type of leader we need if we really think that we need Ghana to be built like abroad. Because basically the things he's talking about or what he wants to do, that is what we are enjoying over there. So now he being there and finally they hearing it from him and how he wants to run this country if he's given the opportunity, to me, I mean, is the highlight. And believe me, people are buying into his agenda. And I believe if we are able to sell what he wants to do more, we stand a better chance of getting this country to a better place than, I mean, it is at this moment.
You are concerned that people are sort of undermining Akufo-Addo's legacy.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Because Singapore, I went to school here for a bit. I went to Butray, I mean, for a bit, just for one term though. And then my pops have to, you know, obviously take me away to Canada. And before I was leaving Ghana, traffic lights was not even something that you would see often. I believe the only interchange that I know was the Tekwashi runabout and something Akweje or something. So as time went on, as I was coming, I saw the improvement and stuff going on. And then when we compare what His Excellency Nana Addo has brought into the political space of Ghana, especially in this Fourth Republic, I don't think there is any government or there's any president that holds his record. And Singapore, I can go sector by sector, talking about education, which is the most important thing. One funny thing is that back in the days, people used to complain that, oh, we didn't have money, that's why we couldn't go to school. Money has been a challenge. Money has been a challenge. You go to the market, they'll tell you, oh, my daddy married too many and he couldn't take all of us, all those things. So he now coming inside to bring something that most regimes couldn't do, or most, I mean, like presidents couldn't do, and giving opportunity to the less fortunate, and also leveling the playing field in terms of education. Because during our time, when I was in Ghana, if your father or mother was not rich, or if they were not from an affluent place, you can't go to Wesley Girls, you can't go to those places. But today, thanks to free SHS, we have kids like Francisca Laminin excelling at Harvard, and we have all those things. Now, if you look at the slides right now, we are looking at free SHS and TVET. Under this government, over 5 million kids has benefited from this. These are kids that would have otherwise been on the street selling, like we used to come to Ghana and see them on the street. Singapore, I can emphatically say that since I came, the number of little kids that you see selling on the street, it's not there no more. I was asking my driver that, what happened to all the kids?
People are selling on the street.
Well, people are selling, but we are seeing the grown-ups selling more than the kids. Yes, right now it's their mothers and fathers and uncles who are selling these donuts and these dog chains.
Because they've gone to school.
Because they've gone to school. And that is something that every country is supposed to look at it like, this is a big, big...
Metro TV. Insightful and inspiring moments.
Has Christianity always been one of the religions in the world to you?
Oh, hallelujah. Praise God. Christianity is not a religion, neither is it a joining of a church and doing the Christian things like praying and giving and so on. Hallelujah. Christianity is the outworking of God's own kind of life received into the spirit of a man. Whoa! This divine life in the heart of a man makes him righteous, keeps him healthy, divinely guided in life, prosperous and victorious. It gives you the ability to enjoy intimate fellowship with the Father and have dominion on this earth. Hallelujah. This is what awaits you if you will wholeheartedly believe that Jesus is the Son of God raised from the dead and personally confess Him as the Lord of your life. Glory to God.
Hallelujah. Join Dr. David Binder on the Good Life Devotion every Monday to Friday on this channel and receive truth that will usher you into exhibiting the divine life.
Kindly note that you can enjoy the Good Life Devotion on these other platforms at their stated times. Do choose the most convenient one for you or switch to another in case of a broadcast challenge with your usual platform. By all means, don't miss the Good Life devotion any day. Now, welcome to today's episode with Dr. David Bindan.
Wow, praise the Lord, hallelujah. Such a joy once again to welcome you to today's special episode of our favorite Good Life devotion. It's always a joy to bring to you things that are real in the realm of God, our Father, the creator of everything. You know, where we live as people who minister the truth of the Father, it's not a place that the Father reserved for just his ministers. You see, the Bible says that ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Where we live now, as ministers who live in the realm of God, is what God wants for every one of his children. You see, God's interest is not in having a class of people who live in the reality of where he is and the rest of the people being in darkness. Imagine how the prophet lived in the Old Testament. He lived on a mountain and he was living in the realities of the Spirit. He saw all these chariots around him and he was never moved by the army of Syrians. And yet the same army of Syrians could come and maltreat the whole Israel. But the prophet was cool because he lived in the whole realm. That's the Old Testament pattern. God doesn't want it to be so in Christ. In Jesus Christ, he's the way, the truth, and the life. All of us who believe in Christ are now sons of God. And we are in the same place. That place that he said he was going to prepare. Now the door is open and anyone who receives Christ goes straight into that place. It is in the communion of the Godhead. And every son or daughter of God, being filled with the Holy Ghost, can grow in the things of the Spirit until this reality of communion in the Godhead is a practical thing. And we all see the Father, we relate in that state, and truth is our natural place of existence. You know, so it's such a joy to be bringing to you reality, because that is what, when you receive, you walk in liberty, according to John chapter 8. We started dealing with the subject of understanding the world in which you live and what truth is. And in our introductory episode yesterday, we settled on a fundamental truth. The first thing was that the world in which you live, you have to understand that world. You must understand it. If not, you will malfunction. Adam and Eve did not understand their world well. And that is why things went the way they went. But we have the privilege of a body of truth delivered to us